Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes, Magdiel Santiago. Hello, good afternoon, Magdiel Santiago. This is the Goshen Chronicles. Today I have the company of Patricia. How are you, Patricia? Patricia, let me get this right. Patricia Garcia Stiles, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
That is correct. Patricia Garcia Stiles.
How are you, Patricia?
I'm doing wonderful.
That's awesome. I believe last week we had an interview here in Spanish, and I got carried out. I just started speaking Spanish, and then I neglected to remember that I was supposed to do this in English. But welcome to the Goshen Chronicles once again.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure, the opportunity to be here with your audience, to be able for them and for me to get to know them through your company. It is great.
Our pleasure. So just to let the audience know, Patricia and I have known each other for over 20 years, maybe a little bit over 20 years.
Yes.
And it has been an impressive journey. I got to tell you, congratulations on everything that you have accomplished. You came here, I don't know how many years ago, but when I met you, you were managing a restaurant. And I was being a musician of restaurants back in the day. I still enjoy playing music, but I don't play in restaurants anymore. But I remember we had a good time, and you always did a good job at the restaurant. And you have come very far, and now you are running for City Council of Elkhart at large. And that's amazing. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you will be the very first Hispanic woman that will be running for City Council at large. Is that correct?
That is correct, and especially for the Republican Party, right?
Yes. So let's get to it. The Republican Party. From the Hispanic perspective and from the, I'm going to say, immigrant community, not a lot of people think or know that Hispanics, we are very diverse in the way that we think. So there are a lot of assumptions about, what the political inclination of the Hispanic community is. That's one thing. The other thing that we talked about during our last interview is that our Hispanic community is changing, is evolving. We have the first generation of immigrants, then we call them the second generation, the children of that first generation, and then we have now the third generation. I came here in the 90s. I believe that the 90s were during the time where most of the immigration from Central America and Mexico came to the United States. Maybe nowadays, maybe in the last 2 years, that has changed because we have received a dramatic increment of immigrants in the area for different reasons. And so let's address the issue right now. Immigration is a complex topic to talk about. Very complex. It has economic implications. There are outside of the regular voter. I think, and this is my personal opinion, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking too much right now for being an interview about you. But I want to set up the plane so that our audience understands what we're trying to accomplish here. So in the Hispanic perspective, I think that the Hispanic community, we are ready to start having representation from both parties that represent the Hispanic community. Again, those who are able to vote. And, those are the rules of the nation. I became a U.S. citizen about 2 years ago. And I did it to participate in politics. I was not very encouraged because, hey, whatever. But nowadays, I think that is a responsibility. I know it's a responsibility when you take a test. They make sure that that, having a citizenship is a responsibility, as much as other privileges as well. But let's talk about you, Patricia. So you have an impressive career. Tell us about where you come from. Tell us why you're running for City Council at large in Elkhart.
Well, my name, again, thank you, Patricia Garcia Stiles. I am from Mexico City. I love Mexico City. I missed it. But that is not home anymore. My home is here, Elkhart, Indiana. I came 25 years ago.
Okay.
And my background is law. I'm an attorney in Mexico. I was practicing for 13 years criminal law. I was a public defender. So I enjoy it so much because the fact helping people, the most needed help is the people that don't have money, people that have several issues as a community. So that's what I was doing there. And here, after I came here, and then after the first year, I went to apply to Bank One, which was, Bank One now, Chase, and I was hired to be a teller. Yes. So ever since then, I stay in the financial industry, banks, for 15 years. I was with several banks. I was the second Hispanic or Latina that was higher for the banks in the whole Michiana area.
So let's make a really a small pause right there, because a lot of people, especially the Anglo community, they probably don't know what some immigrants, in this case like you, have to go through. You mentioned you were a lawyer when you were in Mexico, and you migrated to the United States, and essentially you had to start all over, right? So you had to go back to a blank piece of paper and say, what can I do with what I have? Now, luckily, you spoke some English, right?
Yes, actually, I was telling the last interview that thank you to my father. You know, he forced me to go, you have to study English. And, you know, he even was taking me to the school and then stay there outside the school. You have to be here, and I'm going to wait for you here. So it was funny, but now I'm grateful because my parents, you know, all the values, my family, them for my, you know, my side, the side of my mother, my father, you know, it was great values that I got. So yeah, he was the one waiting for me and to learn English. So that's what I came speaking English.
That's amazing. Family values. It seems to me that you have passed those same values to your children.
Correct.
In our last interview, I learned that one of your sons is working for NASA.
Correct.
And the other one is a chemical engineer, I believe, or
a scientist. Yes,
a scientist.
A scientist.
And so you had the same discipline that your parents had with you, with your children.
With them, oh yes. And then, like you mentioned, you know, starting in the bank industry, you know, I was grateful to be a teller, and I was grateful to have the chance, you know, to get into to have a job, you know, to come and make sure that I will get the American dream, you know, that we all dream about, the American dream. Mm-hmm. And
Yes.
it got better because then, you know, I got divorced, and then I needed to get more money to be able to be paying for bills, be paying for schools, you know, you name it. And then I went to a restaurant where we met, and I started there as a waitress, right? And then I ended up being a manager, the same as the bank. You know, I was assistant manager, and then I kept going up because I needed to do something more. You know, the Latino people, Hispanics, we come here to succeed, you know, and then if you keep that in mind, you know, you're gonna keep going no matter what.
Yes, absolutely. So what is your professional career nowadays? What do you do?
Well, now I'm a financial advisor. I'm an insurance agent as well. We help families with financial planning. We help them with their life insurance. We help them with their finances because, you know, because of the situation you were talking about you know, the status of migration they have, some of them need a lot of information, meaning they have to have, probably they think they don't have access to a retirement account or something that will give them a little bit of money. So that's what I'm showing them. Yes, you have that opportunity, even if you have, you know, whatever your immigrant situation is. Yes.
Yes, that's so interesting. We talked about in our last interview, and I'm sorry I'm making reference to that, but I want both of those interviews to be consistent with each other.
Correct.
We talked about values. And so what would you say are the values of what you represent?
The family, you know, we were, and then, you know, you're from Mexico too.
Yes.
You know, the first thing that we learn in law school is that you need to keep the family as the base of the community, right?
Yes.
When you have that, when we accomplish that, then everything starts to change because the school starts at home.
Yes.
So we need to get those values. Yes.
Yeah, and even there, right there, maybe another value kind of breaks off of that, which is education, right?
Education, right.
Now that we're talking about education, let's talk about a mutual friend that I interviewed. I had the honor to interview about 2 months ago, Diego Morales. Diego Morales is our first Secretary of State of the state of Indiana, and he's an immigrant from Guatemala. He came here when he was 18 years old without knowing how to speak English. I believe he's 41 years old, I want to say. He's younger than me. I'm going to be 43 this month, at the end of this month. And he's already the Secretary of State. Now, if I may, I will say that is only possible in the United States of America. Now, when I ask my friends about, hey, who do you think put Diego Morales as Secretary of State? Well, I know that it wasn't us Hispanics because our votes are not there, unfortunately. A lot of Hispanic votes are not active. The people that have the power to vote, they don't participate for whatever reason. Sometimes I think it's not really understanding how it works, or sometimes it's the urgency to register as a voter, or sometimes they miss the deadlines. But Hispanics, most of us didn't show up for voting. The rest of the community did put Diego Morales. I think that tells a lot about how this country has moved on into receiving the minorities, into welcoming anybody that has the values. Because, to me, and again, this is my opinion, and I always make this disclaimer, my personal opinion is very independent than the Goshen Chronicles. I love free speech, the fact that I can say what I want. That's another value, right?
Another value, exactly.
So, yeah, Diego Morales. So you're going to have an official launch of your campaign next week, right?
This week.
This week, yeah.
This Friday.
This Friday, yeah.
Friday 16 from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Concord Event Center.
And Diego Morales will be there.
Diego Morales is going to be here.
Okay, tell us again why you are running for city council, and tell us about this event on Friday.
Well, the event on Friday is Diego Morales and I being with the community. Of course, he comes to support me. And the reason that he's coming to support me is because he knows the path that I'm going through, right? You just said it. We need to educate, in a good sense, the community, because they need to know what this is about. They need to know and to learn what is, we have to have participation in the, whatever is moving now in the city. This is at the city level, which, is what is the council. And he's coming Friday 16, 5 to 7 p.m. to the Concord Event Center. And the reason that I'm running is because talking about my story, coming 25 years ago, being an immigrant, just like, all of us, or most of us, and being able to succeed, or actually to pass through a lot of, bumps and jumps, life, such a life. I need to get back to this community, to this country, a lot of things that this country has given me. And you just mentioned that I have 2 sons, and my priority is to keep Elkhart a wonderful place to live. And here I'm gonna make just a little bit of a pause and tell you that when I came here to the United States, it was actually like an accident. But, nothing is an accident, right? So we came here because my husband then said, we're going to go to Cancun. He used to work for Mexican Airlines. Okay. And he says, let's go to Cancun. And we were also happy we were going to go to Cancun. And then this one time he comes and says, we're not going to Cancun. What? We're going to Chicago. No, I don't want to go to Chicago. Yes, we're going to Chicago. And then we're going to go to see this place. Because remember, we have a goal, and our goal is for give our sons a better life. And I think I found it. I was so upset with him, and I said, okay, let's go. So we went, and then we came here. We came here to visit, and when we saw the place, I thought, we need to move here. So that's what we did. So ever since then, and this country gave the opportunity to my family to succeed the way that we've been doing it, but always there is more, right? So now it's time to give back the community in this country what I received. Yeah, that's what I'm running.
That's good. If I may add to that, just to give some information to our audience, the Hispanic population, the demographic group, is the fastest growing demographic group in the United States.
Correct.
If you ask people in the local school system, they will tell you that Hispanics are at least 55% of their student body. So think about the changes that will bring about to the country. And this is one of the reasons why the Goshen Chronicles, we are very excited, and we're also very interested in supporting candidates like you, because when you take into consideration those numbers with how the Hispanic community, is being represented out there, we're lacking. And I think we need people like you, the pioneers, that will, get the first, attempt at getting the city council position and showing the rest that this is what we need to be doing. We need to be participating. Now, we are thinking collectively that our best approach to the politics will be to make sure that we have representatives in both parties because we don't want to be segregated. And I personally don't like to just think of one party as the solution. I think the politics is about bringing different people with different mindsets and bring about balance, because this is about a democracy at the end, right? And we don't all think the same. So within the Hispanic group, there are people that we don't think the same. We have values to go by. We don't go by parties. And so we are trying to educate, as you said, in a good way, in a good sense of the word, educate the people what the Republican Party stands for, what the Democratic Party stands for. And if you're one of those that align yourself in these issues that you consider to be the most important, then that's okay. You're free to do so. But nonetheless, we should have representatives in both parties. You're going to be the first lady, the first woman to run for city council at large in Elkhart. You also happen to be Hispanic. But I believe that America has grown farther than just to look at race or gender. I think that we should be looking at qualifications. So I'm going to ask you questions. Why should voters vote for you for city council?
I would like to say that, like I said the last interview, I'm not a politic. I'm not. So everything that you want to come and ask me, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to answer from my heart. Actually, I have a slogan that it says, please vote for me. I have the city with a heart in my heart. And I want to keep the community informed. I want to keep the community uniform. Nobody is more, nobody is less. We just need to come together, to work together. This country, it is the dream country for all of us. Otherwise, other cultures wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's true.
So other cultures wouldn't be here. So my first reason to run is because we need to be able to keep finances for the Elkhart City, in control. Otherwise, it's going to be not good. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
I'm a Elkhart resident, and I know that taxes keep going up for property taxes and things like that sort. And I know that as it seems like the economy is heading south little by little, that it's going to be harder and harder for people to keep up with their taxes. So it's an important subject.
It is important. It is important as Latinos. Come and participate. Come, and if the language barrier is always there. But actually, I had a meeting with all my team, and I was asking them, what is that we can do in these council meetings? We can provide either an app or either some type of device, so those meetings, all that information could be translated to Spanish.
Yeah.
So we can have more audience and more people come in and ask us, But definitely the participation as Latinos is that we need to be closer. You need to come with me and say, hey, Patty, what is that you're running for? I didn't understand it. Oh, what is that you do? So having the city under control, the financing, it's just very, very important. Otherwise, you mentioned taxes are going to keep going up and up and up. And the fact is that right now, the way that the city is, we're spending money like if we have it, And then I'm not saying this to divide. I'm not, the records are public. So you want to know a little bit more about this, come and see us. The records can be accessible for you, for anyone. So, and then you mentioned segregations, you mentioned division. This is not about parties. This is about the person. Come close to whoever you think is going to take you to a good place. Is going to keep Elkhart safe and beautiful.
That's good. You mentioned about how people maybe don't know English, and that's why they're not engaged into public, like events from the city, Elkhart City. And just to do a little detail there, our company, we were trying to get English classes because I hear sometimes people say, well, this is the United States, you need to speak English. And that's great. I learned how to speak English, but it took me about 10 years to learn. And I also had the blessing to have teachers. But just as a side note, we were looking for classes for our employees and we couldn't find. There's no capacity. There's so much demand. People do want to learn English, but we don't have the capacity to teach them. So I just wanted to put it out there because the people understand that coming to the United States implies you need to change the way that you think about certain things and learning a different language. Now, again, different generations are in different places. The second generation are people that are born here. They already know how to speak English. In third generation, sometimes they don't even know how to speak Spanish. But nonetheless, I think that Republicans, and I'm just going to say that I'm not going to claim that I'm Republican or Democrat, but I think that they need to get smart very fast. Because again, the Hispanic population is the fastest growing population in the United States. And right now, I think that there are great opportunities if we go by the values, because traditionally Hispanic values align more, in my opinion, with the Republican values, the way that I see it. However, the things or the topics that divide, those are the ones that change everything. So we talked about immigration. That's a big topic. It's a complex one. I don't think that we can cover that in this interview. Plus, it belongs to the big politics. It belongs to, the executive orders. It belongs to, senators and all that. And we're talking today about the local politics. We're talking about city council. But it's a good topic to talk about. I'll be delighted to talk about it. Yes, yeah. It's a good topic. So invite us one more time. Tell us about the event this Friday, the 16th at 5 p.m. at
Concord Event Center. I believe it's at 3719 South Main Street in Elkhart. But before I go to that, if you allow me to say this,
sure.
As a Latino community, we're here. You came from your country to have a better life, right? You came from your country for your kids to have a better life. So why not to come and ask for information? Come to the leaders, get closer to the leaders. And then here I want to mention Doriot Blake. Doriot Blake, have been fighting along with Joanna King for the driving card. That is not a city issue, but I want to mention that. And the reason that I'm doing it is because that's another reason to come for the Latino community to come and get close to us. We're not the type of Latino that want to hey, give me. Now we want to give. We need people that want to give, want to learn, want to make progress, improve, right? And the only thing that you're going to make progress and going to improve is getting closer. So that's why we are inviting you guys to come to the Concord Event Center with Diego Morales. By the way, he has a wonderful success story.
It's an inspiring story.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is very inspiring, and then we were talking a little bit ago that to be able to come so far, you have to have tough skin.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have a heart as a lion, because sometimes life, knocks you down, and then you get ready, because then there it comes, the next one. So you need to be able to get up. Yes.
Well, now that you touched that subject, let's address it a little bit. We did touch it last time in our last interview. To run as a Republican for a Hispanic is very difficult. And I'm going to say that in the Hispanic community, not the Anglo community. I think that in the Anglo community, the doors are open wide. It's more within the Hispanic, I'm going to say old leadership, if I may, that think that only one party is the solution. But tell us about your experience, if you could.
It is being hard, but like you said, more by the side with the Latino community. Because, again, it's just about information. I don't think we want to be in that side of the road, with all due respect.
Yeah.
We didn't come here for ask the government to give us everything. We didn't come, we came here to work.
Right.
We came here to,
right.
to succeed. So we didn't come here. So I think, my personal opinion, the Latino community up until now, they're being in the wrong side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So now, the Anglo community is opening, and the Republican Party is opening the doors to us, to the diversity,
Yes.
that we are. And I'm knocking on doors, hey, introducing myself. I'm Patty Garcia Stiles, running for Elkhart City Council at Large. And I've been getting a very, very good response.
That's good.
Response. So I'm going to keep doing it. So if you live in Elkhart, because I'm running a general, if you see me, I'll be there. And if you have questions, there's some questions that, of course, I'm not going to be able to answer because I don't know everything.
Sure.
But I'm pretty sure I'm going to find an answer, and I'm going to get back to you guys.
Very good. Patricia, thank you so much. Congratulations on this fight, this, I want to say, journey that you're going to be starting. I hope you the best. I've seen your development for 20 years. I hope to see you go farther and farther.
Thank you very much.
I gotta say also too, that you are an inspiration for a lot of Hispanic women out there that see your story and they're like, well, I could probably do the same thing, and you're being a pioneer doing it. So
It is always an honor, finding people like you, supporting, other people. So it's all about helping,
Yes, it is.
So please come with us. All of your audience is, invited to come and talk to us. Diego Morales, Concord Event Center, Friday, 16, 5 to 7 p.m. We're going to have great conversation with him.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you heard it. Diego Morales, our first Secretary of State, the first Hispanic immigrant, first generation. That Dieguito, he didn't know how to speak English when he got to the United States, but he did his best studying all over the world. He traveled extensively, and now he's our first Secretary of State. I feel very proud to be represented by Diego Morales. I interviewed him personally. I'm eager to see him on Friday again, maybe do a little interview with him as well. And now we have you as well running and representing the Hispanic community. We wish you the best. And please, if you like this interview, if you like the content, share our videos, click the like button, and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I promise you we have a lot of content in English and in Spanish. The Goshen Chronicles is a new social media platform dedicated to integrate the Hispanic community with the one community. In fact, we should stop saying the Hispanic community and the Anglo community. We just talk about one community. And so we are bridging that gap by doing interviews in English and Spanish, making sure that the issues that are spoken in one side, everybody knows about, and having one conversation at one table. So thank you so much, Patty.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity again. Thank you.
I am Miguel Santiago. This is the Goshen Chronicles. Again, share and like. See you next time. Have a good day. Take care.